Ah, Christmas in the 60s. Bubble lights, aluminum trees, those giant wish book catalogs. Silence. But your memory is hiding a secret. This was made of lead. This was a major fire hazard. The truth is, these iconic baby boomer Christmas traditions didn't just go out of style. They vanished for a reason. Some were toxic, some were ridiculed. And today, we're exposing the real reason why they disappeared forever. Part 1. The Cultural Assassination. Look at this object. It doesn't just look like it's from the future. It was a rejection of the past.
At 15 seconds, guidance is
The
internal.
1960s were not just about
12,
reaching for the
11,
stars.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
They were about escaping the messy, unpredictable, organic world. Nature was something to be tamed, paved over, in this case, replaced. The traditional Christmas tree, it was suddenly seen as a problem. It was inefficient, it shed needles, it required water, it died, it was dirty. The modern American home, now a temple of push-button convenience and sterile minimalist design, demanded an upgrade. Industry provided the solution, the aluminum tree. It wasn't grown, it was engineered. It didn't come from a cold, damp forest. It came from a clean, efficient factory, gleaming in atomic silver, cosmic pink, or electric blue. It was the perfect, permanent, clean symbol for a generation that was conquering the moon. But this marvel of modern design concealed a fatal flaw, a paradox. The tree of the future could not handle the most basic Christmas technology. String electric lights on this metallic giant, and you weren't just decorating, you were creating a massive conductor, risking a catastrophic fire. So, how did they light it? The solution was a piece of technology just as bizarre, just as alien as the tree itself. A separate device that sat on the floor, whirring. The color wheel. This wasn't a gentle, welcoming twinkle. This was a machine. A rotating motor with colored plastic panels, red, blue, green, and yellow, that projected silent, hypnotic waves of light onto the reflective branches. It created an atmosphere that wasn't cozy or warm. It was psychedelic. It was television for your tree. And it was a sensation. For a few brief, shining years, this was the absolute peak of modern status. Sales exploded. This was the way to celebrate Christmas. And then, almost overnight, it vanished. So, what happened? What incredible force could wipe an icon, a symbol of American progress, off the map so completely? This wasn't a government ban. It wasn't a mass safety recall. This was something else entirely. This was a cultural execution. The weapon wasn't a law or a protest. It was a 30-minute television special. The assassin was an 8-year-old boy in a zigzag shirt. December 9th, 1965. Tens of millions of American families gathered
to watch a brand new animated special A Charlie Brown Christmas. They didn't just watch a show, they witnessed a moral reckoning. On national television, the film's plot pointed its finger directly at the gleaming aluminum tree. It was the villain of the story.
The symbol of everything wrong with the holiday. Cold, empty, artificial and commercial. The hero? A small, sickly, real pine tree. A tree so pathetic it was barely alive. But Charlie Brown declared it just needed a little love. That single broadcast struck a deep national nerve.
The blow was fatal, soulless, un-American.
Suddenly, owning the tree of the future made you look shallow. The back-to-nature hippie counterculture of the late 60s and 70s simply arrived to finish the job. The aluminum tree was no longer a status symbol. It was a punchline, a relic of a failed plastic future. An icon, erased by an idea. But while the aluminum tree was a victim of cultural assassination, the next item on our list was a biological time bomb. Part 2. The poisoned Shimmer. The aluminum tree was killed by an idea. It was a cultural victim. But the next item on our list wasn't a danger to your taste. It was a danger to your life. Look at this, tinsel. That flimsy, feathery plastic we throw on the tree today. It's cheap, it floats, it's forgettable. But in the 1960s, tinsel was a different beast entirely. They called it lametta, and it was not plastic. This tinsel had weight. This tinsel had presence. When you draped it on a branch, it didn't curl or float. It hung perfectly straight. It captured the light, not like plastic, but like polished silver. Because, well, it was metal. This was the good stuff, the premium decoration. Families didn't just throw it at the tree. They applied it carefully, strand by painstaking strand, to create the perfect icicle effect. And because it was expensive, they would often remove it just as carefully, saving the strands for the following year. It was beautiful, it was elegant, and it was toxic. Because the heavy metal that gave it that perfect drape, that beautiful, realistic shimmer, was LEAD. That's right. For decades, American families were meticulously, lovingly hanging strips of a known neurotoxin all over their Christmas trees. Think about it. A tree covered in lead foil, sitting in the living room for a month, where children, pets, and toddlers could grab it, touch it, eat it. Every "How did we survive?" story from the baby boomer generation starts right here. This wasn't a hidden danger, it was the main event, sold in a box. So why did it vanish? This wasn't a change in fashion, this was an intervention. In the early 1970s, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, finally stepped in. The growing public awareness of lead poisoning, from paint, from gasoline, had finally reached the Christmas tree. In 1.9.7.2, the government issued a formal warning. They declared that lead tinsel was a public health hazard. The risk to small children was too great. The industry had no choice. The ban was swift and total. Lead La Meta was pulled from the shelves, replaced forever by the safe, cheap, and lifeless plastic we use today. The real thing was gone. The weight, the feel, the authentic metallic sparkle that an entire generation remembers. It all disappeared. And it disappeared for one simple reason. It was poison. So one icon was killed by a cartoon. Another by the FDA. But the next tradition on our list wasn't a single object. It was an entire empire, an empire delivered to your doorstep, that held the dreams of every child in America. Part 3. The Christmas Bible. We've seen an icon killed by culture, and a decoration banned for being poison. But the next victim wasn't just a product. It wasn't a single object. It was an empire. An entire universe of desire delivered to your doorstep. In a 500-page book. Before Amazon, before social media influencers, before your desires could be fulfilled in 24 hours, there was the book. It arrived in the fall. It wasn't just mail, it was an event. A massive catalog weighing several pounds landing with a sacred thud on doorsteps across America. This was the Sears Christmas Wish Book. And for any American child over the age of 40, this was the Christmas Bible. This wasn't shopping. This was a ritual. The moment it arrived, the entire dynamic of the household shifted. This book was a source of power. Kids would claim it, hide it, pore over it with a scholar's intensity. The smell of the fresh printed ink, the crinkle of the glossy pages. This was the tactile sensation of pure potential. For months, October, November, December. This book was studied. They didn't just browse, they worked. Meticulously circling G.I. Joes, Barbie dream houses, electric train sets, and strange futuristic robots. This was the sacred text of American desire. This book taught you what to want. It didn't just sell toys. It manufactured a specific, powerful, and now extinct emotion, anticipation. Today, you see it, you click it, you get it. The gap between desire and possession is almost zero. But the Wish Book, it made you wait. It made you dream. It forced you to invest your time, to prioritize, to negotiate with your siblings, to build a case for your parents. It was a physical record of your hopes for the year. And it wasn't just for kids. For parents, this was the engine. This was the master plan. They would wait until the kids were asleep, often with a cup of coffee, poring over the same book, figuring out how to make that magic happen. They filled out tiny, complex mail-order forms, wrote checks, or made secret phone calls to a Sears operator. This book was the logistics network for a nation's holiday. So, what happened? What force on earth could topple this cultural institution? This wasn't a single event. This was a slow, agonizing death by 1,000 cuts. The first killer was the big box store. Why circle a toy in a book and wait weeks for it to arrive by mail when your parents could just drive you to a brand new, massive, fluorescent-lit warehouse called Toys R Us, and you could grab it off the shelf right now? The magic of anticipation was being replaced by the raw, addictive drug of instant gratification. Walmart and other retail giants joined the assault, gutting the catalog's relevance page by page, year by year, but the final executioner was invisible. It was the 1-2 punch of the internet and e-commerce. The concept of ordering from a physical book became ancient, obsolete, a relic from a forgotten time. And finally, the very empire that built the book crumbled. Sears, the monolithic giant of American retail. The company that had invented mail order went bankrupt. The institution that had once defined the American dream was now a ghost haunting empty malls. It wasn't just a catalog that disappeared. An entire feeling went extinct. The shared national tactile ritual of wanting was replaced by the silent, solitary digital click of a mouse. The way we wished for Christmas had changed. But so had the very technology we trusted to light up the darkness. Part 4. The Chemical Boil. Today, our trees are lit by tiny, cold, efficient pixels, LEDs. They are safe, they are sterile, they are predictable. But the generation that grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they didn't just light their trees, they made them boil. This is the bubble light. And it wasn't just a decoration, it was a science experiment happening live right on the branch. The design was an act of pure analog genius. It was built in 2 parts. At the bottom, a simple incandescent bulb. But on top, sealed in a candle-shaped glass vial, was a mysterious colored liquid. This liquid was not water. It was a chemical cocktail, usually featuring methylene chloride. An industrial solvent with a dangerously low boiling point. And the magic wasn't the light. The magic was the heat. As the bulb below warmed up, it would heat the liquid until that toxic, colorful chemical would erupt into a constant, mesmerizing boil, a silent, hypnotic cascade of bubbles, rising and falling all night long. It was strange, it was otherworldly, it was alive. From their invention in the late 40s all the way through the 60s, these were the absolute height of Christmas technology. They didn't just twinkle, they performed, they were a status symbol. And then, they were gone. So what happened? What force could possibly extinguish this moving, boiling chemical magic? This wasn't a cultural assassination like the aluminum tree. This wasn't a public health ban like lead tinsel. This was a technological execution. The bubble light had flaws, serious flaws. They were made of glass and they were fragile. They were notoriously unreliable. But most of all, they were hot. The very mechanism that made them boil also made them a burn hazard, hot enough to scorch a child's hand, or melt the needles on an artificial tree. And they were expensive. But their real killer was a tiny, cheap, and ruthlessly efficient invader. An invention that would change the face of Christmas forever. The mini light. In the mid-1970s, this new technology flooded the market. These tiny, rice-sized bulbs were impossibly cheap. They were safe. They were cool to the touch. You could buy a string of 100 for the price of just a few bubble lights. The battle was over before it began. Why would anyone invest in hot, fragile, expensive, chemical-filled glass tubes when you could safely wrap your entire house in thousands of tiny, cheap, brilliant lights? The bubble light wasn't banned. It was simply replaced. It became a fossil overnight. A piece of dead tech, like a rotary phone or an 8-track tape. A mesmerizing chemical-fueled dream that was rendered completely obsolete by a tiny, simple, solid-state bulb. We've seen technology vanish. We've seen culture kill. We've seen poison banned. But what about an entire experience? A shared, national ritual that wasn't stolen by a better product, but by the very invention of choice itself? Today, Christmas is a stream. It's an endless, on-demand buffet. You want to watch Elf? It's on Netflix. Home Alone? It's on Disney+. You can watch your favorite movie 50 times before December 25th. On your phone, in your car, at 3 a.m. We have infinite choice. And because of that, we have lost something profound. We have lost the event. Welcome to the 1960s. You don't have Netflix. You don't have streaming. You don't even have a VCR. You have three channels on your television, a BC, CBS, and NBC. That is your entire universe. And in this universe, certain nights were sacred. This was appointment television. The animated Christmas specials, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, were not just shows. They were national events on par with the Super Bowl. Why? Because they aired one time. One night for 1 hour in the entire season. Think about that. Not available for a limited time. Not dropping at midnight. It was Tuesday, 8 p.m., be there. Or wait 365 days. There was no pause button, no watch later. If the phone rang, you didn't answer it. If you had to go to the bathroom, you ran. The entire family, every family, had to gather in the living room at the exact same time to share this one fleeting experience. This created a sense of collective anticipation, a shared cultural bond that simply does not exist today. Tens of millions of people united in a single moment, watching the exact same story unfold. So, what destroyed this ritual? What killed this powerful shared experience? It wasn't a single invention, it was an invasion. First came the VCR in the late 70s. For the first time, you could capture the signal, you could record it. You could gasp. Time shift. The broadcast's monopoly on time was broken. Then came cable TV. Suddenly there weren't 3 channels. There were 50, then 200. The audience, once a single massive body, shattered into 1,000 tiny fragments. And finally, streaming, the internet. The very concept of appointment viewing was rendered obsolete. Why wait for 8 p.m. on Tuesday? When you can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. The technology didn't just give us convenience, it stole our scarcity. It killed the magic of the shared moment. The ritual was dead. But this era wasn't just strange in how they watched Christmas. It was strange in where they bought it. And our next item might be the most bizarre of all.